welcome back to another study hall here on TCG University for the UniVersus game. My name is Tam, and I'm joined by
James
and Michael.
What study hall is for the unenrolled is we've taken a bunch of your guys' UniVersus topics. I almost said it. UniVersus topics.
Good job.
And we sit down and we discuss them for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. So, with that, a little bit of housekeeping before we jump into it. I want to give a big shout out to our Patreon supporters. I'm going to read their names out here. Jay Rogers, Jerome Weeks, Justin Farst, William Stoll, Andrew Dang, ER Melkor. Did I say that right?
Melkor, yeah.
Yes. Jarrett Hubbard, Tyler Zane Pease, Sean Bauman, Clay Cardwell, Tracy Cardwell. Hi, Mom. If you want to get a shout out and support the show, go out to patreon.com/TCG University. It throws a couple bucks. You can get the podcast early, or you can get it a week later free on YouTube. If you don't have any bucks to toss, that's totally fine. We appreciate the love and support that you give us anyways. In addition to the podcast, we also have a couple of other things. Every day, we've been really good about this. This is like the most consistent we've ever been with a new product. Every day, we have had a campus championship bracketed tournament match go out for the past month. So good job, man.
Nice.
Good job. I'm so proud of us.
Oh, dang, he got you.
So at time of recording, for my Patreon kids, the ones that you just watched, which will be coming out for the YouTube kids, was the Ultra Rare Challenge, where the Ultra Rares, Ultra Rares.
That's for at the time of this.
Yeah.
I was
The
really I was
Ultra-
like, no, wait, we just recorded that.
I asked the faculty, the teacher body, to pick their favorite Yu Yu Hakusho Ultra Rare and then build a character or build a deck around it using exclusively that
Some of us
Ultra
picked
Rare.
Better Ultra Rares.
The Ultra Rares we picked were Spirit Shotgun, Koima's Task, Boulder
Barrage Gimbu.
yes,
Boulder Dash.
some idiots. Dummy picked Psychic Spirit Glass. What an idiot. We had
Hey,
Prism,
it's going pretty good.
Rose Whiplash,
Seiryu.
If you haven't
Ice
and
Dragon.
Ice Dragon Seiryu. Those were the 8. And then this week, coming up for my Patries, or a week from now for all my YouTube kids, we have a Yu Yu Hakusho off. There are conveniently 8 characters in that set, and we're going to have a small battle royale for all of those characters. It's gonna be fun.
I'm excited.
And then lastly, a little bit of news. This weekend, at time of recording, is the Omaha PTC.
Yep.
So we get to make our final predictions. I wanted to get pizza for this podcast, but we're getting pizza tomorrow night because we have some guests who shall remain nameless coming into town. And so we're just going to have pizza there. I didn't want to have
Pizza.
I want to record a secondary podcast with them tomorrow. Man, that would be the
sick.
coolest shit ever. But some of them have to figure out their decks. Some of us have to finalize our decks.
Some of us like playing board games.
Some of us like playing board games. So
I mean, it'd be pretty cool to do like a group casting couch type of thing.
I agree. I would love to have some sort of
Kind of like we did at the couple of last PTCs.
Yeah. But the issue was that house was so crazy. Like, it was actually
but this time
insane.
it'll be limited because like it's just gonna be us.
Yeah.
It won't be like you have an entire party going on in the kitchen, entire party going on downstairs, entire party going on in the second half of the living room.
Yeah.
Like
It
it's
was-
just,
There
have
was
just the
like
couch.
there were close to 30 maybe. Yeah, it's about 30 people in Miles's house. And Miles's house it's bigger than our house, but it's still a house. You shouldn't have 30 people in a house.
like
not
they
in
had,
Omaha.
like they
Not in
had
West
like
Side.
an entire.
I've seen his basement.
Yeah,
They had like 5
like-
people like hanging out in the kitchen doing their thing.
There were like a dozen people in that basement. Yep. Everybody's just,
like it's a fire hazard.
Party.
and that's what's happening this weekend too. Everybody's just going to the Casa de Tyler. Say that right?
Yeah,
Why you look at me?
I'm pretty sure.
No comment. So the first thing. Sorry, Gonzalez. The first thing that I want to talk about is have you seen the Ultra Rare tournament that I've done, or the excuse
Yeah,
me,
I was in it.
sorry, get my signals crossed. Have you seen the daily bracketed 16-man tournaments that I do?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had a choice this past bracket to do either like commons and uncommons from Street Fighter or the best character, right? And so the first thing that I want to talk about, I have a second topic.
Solid.
It kind of goes into it. The first I put on in our bracket The first thing I did, because there's more than 16 characters in the game, and I could argue that there are more than 16 good characters in the game. The first thing I did,
Every character's good in the game.
the first thing I did was I put on every PTC winning character as well as major winning character. Conveniently, they were both for this past year, Cassie Cage and Lord Raptor. But some questionable characters made the list, i.e. the biggest two complaints that I got were Sophidia and Grow. So my question is to you guys, and I want you to be really be honest. Do those two characters deserve to be in a conversation of what's the best character in the game? And I love your. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I love your peace treaty of every character's the best character
I
in
don't
the
think
game.
every character's the best character. I think every character's good though.
I think
every character is able to go win a PTC if all the stars aligned. If they had their good winning matchups in top 8, had like an easy trip to Swiss, but maybe like outplayed where they needed to, snuck in the bottom half.
Do you have a paragraph to say about that topic? Because I want to give you a paragraph, I want to give me a paragraph, and then I want to not talk about how every character is good. Do you have anything you want to say to that topic?
I think it's all about symbols, and I don't think it's about character. Like when we did our tier list, I probably threw out about 15 Ds. So
I think every character can make a deck that you go, oh wow, that was like cohesive and like that. I think that could maybe get somewhere, maybe, but I don't think every deck is gonna go win a PTC. I don't believe that.
I don't think it's every deck. I think it's actually like 65 to 70% of the entire format.
That's a significantly lower number than I thought you were gonna say. I honestly thought you were gonna say like 80, 85.
So like I think that extra like 20% right there afterwards is characters that could top a PTC if they had like good matchups and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they could win strictly because of like other characters are better.
And I think just because like how symbols are right now.
I actually think symbols
This
are
podcast
really
is
good.
so easy. Third topic, baby. Let's go.
I think the symbols are really, really close to even right now, which I'm thinking is very, very good for the game.
Well, okay, I think there's 12 symbols.
Yeah.
I think 9 of them are really close, and then I think 3 of them are just above. So
We can save that for a different podcast if you like.
okay.
Is it okay that Sophidia and Grow are on my list?
Personally, I don't think that Gross should have been on the list. I think it's a slap in the face that you're leaving Timothy Potato Man 2 off of.
The farmer himself.
I would be so down if Shane Duckworth didn't scrub out over in UK Nats and
With his
lose.
Swiss champ deck. Yeah.
Timmy two belt, his first belt, his first earned belt, hasn't done jack shit.
Well, actually,
It's Swiss Champton event. Nope. He didn't get a belt for that. It's Timmy 2 dot. Timmy 3 dot. He got his second belt.
I mean, I guess he
I'll
technically got
choke
a
the
belt.
shit out of you. You hear me?
I mean, Timmy.
I'm 3 drinks in, my guy. I'm gonna get
Oh
violent.
shit! Did I write down a
Anything
time?
can happen.
Anything could happen.
Here, you want to get what time is it? I need to.
Just put it on the
I
front.
need
I
to-
won't look at it.
That's a lie.
What time is it? I don't know. It's 6 till 8.
You've had 3, you said?
This is going to be number 3. But Tim didn't win it in singles.
Yep.
And his team didn't even win in
Yeah.
his team did not win in
Yes.
teams. It was Akuma, Yusuke, and then a third character that I hope is not Tim too.
Yeah. Team Nebraska did not win.
No. There were definitely 2 teams that were playing Tim 2. I will actually just look it up. Man, I just don't remember.
But personally, like I like Grow as a character, but I just don't think like he's gonna get bopped like in the first round of like that tournament. It's just like like good for Grow and everything. Like I'm glad he's on that list. Like I said, I like him, but I just think there's too many like other good characters that are like left off of that list. And like as somebody said like in the comments, like sure you could consider it being skewed, the data being skewed because of the smaller PTCs. But I mean like at the end of the day, a PTC is a PTC. So like,
And
that's why they do deserve to be on the list.
That's exactly where I came from, right?
Like from
Yeah.
the criteria, I think he deserves to be on the list. Like if you're actually going like when you made your criteria from like all the PTCs and all the events from this year, like if you're doing actual good best decks of like the past year, I would actually just look at the formats of like what made the most impact. Cause like Jackie's not on that list, right?
She is.
No, she is.
She was. Oh,
She
okay, so-
won the Canada PTC, and that's the only reason she's on the list.
But like,
She guaranteed made the list. I was gonna leave her off, but she won that PTC.
like
Shout outs to Ryan
I think
Field.
you put out like pillars of like formats of what they were.
So
You
that
put out like
that didn't at that point. That's not data. That's my opinion, which is why Scorpion's not on this list. If I would have went and I
Yeah,
won
but
the
like-
Rockford PTC, Scorpion would be the first character I put on the list. But I didn't. I suck, which is the only reason
No, I mean,
Salinka
like-
2's on the list.
like if you looked at it as like
Salinka
so,
2
like,
hasn't
within
done
the
shit
last year we've had
except for Rockford.
so within the last year we've had like 3 change in formats, right?
Sure.
So that usually leaves about 3 different pillar decks from like each different format
Mhm.
of like what like your 3 best decks. Like this past format before the release of you had Dejanet, you had Salinka, you had Torn, were your big 3 from 7th Cross. You had before that you had man, Maxi's banned, so you can't use that one. Man, Soul Calibur sucks. Oh no, I guess you have Zhanghua,
Yeah.
Yoshimitsu, and I wanted to say Taki, but Taki's the character I think of as being a decent character from that set, but she didn't really show up. But like, do you see what I mean? Like you pull out those cards, you pull out those characters that like did something. Like during the Mortal
Hilariously, it was Jackie Briggs. Jackie Briggs was the last team. Jackie, Yusuke, Akuma, runner-up was Lilith, Kotal-Khan, Kim Teef 2. Fuck.
I mean, that's what I've been renaming it. It's just he's Kim Teef.
Kim Teef.
Following
Sorry, man.
I'm following the champ theme of like shoe bin maker and like doing all that. So now he's just now Kim Teef. Because I messed that up a lot too.
Brevin Kroberg. Barrett Bryant.
Jacob Johnson.
Jacob Johnson. Fuck, this isn't working.
I'm excited for that.
Bill Furch. I'm down. Anyways,
That's some first.
anywho's. Yeah, so I could see that, but then isn't that old data? Like, why at that point? Why isn't Maxi on the list? He was one of
He
the
was
pillars.
banned, though.
Yeah,
so like
so?
you can't pick band characters.
Well, I mean,
The fuck I can't. It's my fucking show.
Maxi's still a pretty good character. I mean, he's just not tournament legal.
Well, that would be really interesting.
band
I'm sure we've got 16 band characters. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's not true.
I know we don't have it in standard, but of all time,
I mean-
of Jasco era,
Well,
I think
oh,
we can-
definitely.
You
We'll-
could.
we
I
can
was about to say
definitely
you could scrounge together.
We can definitely probably hit 16 band characters all Jasco era. Because you get Gemini Man, Skullman.
yeah, the Omnio was banned, right?
At one point, I think.
Yeah, that
something
counts.
like-
I'm down.
Like you
I
can't
got
play
a pet.
You can't play Omnio.
I got a pad. I got 16 slots.
Yeah, give me the thing. I'll see if I can.
No, it's fine. We can do it later.
I mean, like I'm gonna write it down while we talk and see if I can figure it out.
But okay, so my the topic that I wrote down, right, the singular word I wrote was data. This game is so opinion based. Was what's good, what's bad. People, good, the good people. I want to give a big shout out. Thank you very much, Mike Hardiman, for recognizing that Scorpion is a good character. Why am I the only person that's played and done well with Scorpion? There's one person up in Rockford that plays Rochester, excuse me, that plays a Death Scorpion deck, and that's like all he plays, right? But I went to Nationals and I did well. I went to Rockford and I did well, and then it's Radio Silence. If he's that good, he would have won something. If he's that good, he would have topped more.
There was actually
If
a
he was
comment
that
on,
good, then something would have happened.
There's a comment I believe on the singles for the UK Nats of I see I was right when I said Scorpion's never gonna win. Somebody said something about like Scorpion being a trash character.
Yeah.
And he's just never gonna win anything.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's true at all.
I don't believe that either. I think Scorpion, you ready?
I was the first person to switch champ with that.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Either.
I look at like Ken versus Scorpion, and I'm like, Ken has to luck into his 2/6. I just have to be at half health, and I
only
get
have
2/6.
to pay one.
I don't have to. I pay a singular life. I'll probably gain it back with some sort of way, and I found mine. I don't have to luck sack two cards off the top.
Yeah.
We're the same character. He just draws more, right? I burn you for doing shit. He draws more.
Did the thing get banned or did she just rotate?
She just rotated.
I want to make sure.
You want to put Maxi down? Do you want to put it down again?
Maximum? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
But like the only way that our game is gonna get legitimate is if we actually have real statistics, and I wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah.
and we currently just don't. We don't have real statistics.
Uh,
Like nobody's putting in the legwork. I'm gonna do this. Nobody's putting in the legwork in order to give me real statistics.
It's hard to do TAFO stats.
But not only I want them, but I believe the UFS community could use
yes,
them.
I get
that
it.
you don't have any time, but you're the only person that I could turn to in my time of need.
name-
Imagine me coming out of R2D2's little booper, okay? And James Stevens, my NASA nerd.
NASA nerd, we need you.
You're my only hope.
No, now if we change the letters for that for my champ card, it's NASA nerd.
NASA nerd. But like,
Did Kim get banned?
I'm Kim. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
I just want more better stats. That's all I want. I want data out of this game.
Yeah, I think people should try to go to PTCs closer to their area. I think more people should.
And are you saying less people should travel?
No, I'm saying more people should travel.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right, like, so if a PTC is like 4 hours away, I don't see why you're not going.
Oh, I totally agree.
If there's
Like the only reason we're not going to this next one the week after Omaha, despite it being so close, is because I was put on the schedule originally, so I would just have to switch that day, and then Tam got put on the schedule after being off of the schedule.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I was totally down to just see if I could find somebody to take my thing and just have a make sure to schedule myself off for
You're
Sunday.
good. I'm not taking
No, I
shots
just
at
mean,
us.
I know. I'm just
Life
mean, like,
happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna. I'm trying to defend the people.
The good people.
I'm just
Hey,
no.
did you watch that?
What?
Small tangent. Did you watch the roast of Bobby Scar?
Of course I did.
Oh my god, it was
course I
so
did.
fucking good.
It was hit or miss. It was fun.
Like a couple of them were really rough, like Dunk and
Dunk's set was good. Dunk's delivery was awful.
oh yeah, definitely. And I figured you probably would have liked Ludwig's.
I don't know how I feel about Ludwig. Do you know any of this is going
Nope.
on? That's
Okay.
okay. Sorry.
I felt like you would have liked Ludwig.
We'll table it.
We'll talk about it.
Welcome back
afterwards.
to Melee It On Me, the podcast.
I have no clue who the other guy was.
But-
Mr.
Don't
Juggleman.
worry about it.
Oh my god.
Like, if people are worried about like the data being skewed, like it just means that like more people should show up to their PTCs to get more accurate numbers.
If you want those decks to do better, play those decks.
And yeah,
Grow won a PTC. What the fuck has Tim Keefe done? Sophidia won a PTC. What the fuck has Sub-Zero done? What is Scorpion done? Like
Like,
none of these
they
characters
have
have
the
done
depth.
anything, right? I didn't even want to put Jeddah on that list, but then he won a PTC. Like Jeddah has done shit
yeah.
until Jeremy Johnston did. Big shout outs. It's just I'm like there was at one point where I had just a little more free time. I wasn't trying to podcast and edit literally 6 hours every night, where I used to go through and be like, hey, what symbol topped the most out of all these events? What out of the past 6 months, what symbol was most represented? And then because of the amazing job at Jasco, we could take and go, hey, what was the most played card?
Yeah.
Was it Hunt for Spiders and Dragons? Did it deserve to win the ultra rare spot? Or the uncommon spot? Did it deserve that? Actually, it was this card. This card was played way more than Hunt for Spiders. I keep trying to say Balance Spider. This card was played way more than Hunt for Spiders.
Yeah.
Like,
if you want, starting after Nationals, I'll try to keep as close an eye on that as possible. Like, it's a lot rougher to do than you think it would be.
It is a bunch. It's a
Because
ton.
like I have to like go through every single deck list.
I am
through
super
all of
down.
that.
I'm super down to even like help you collab this, right? I
Like,
don't think
the hard part is just getting all the deck lists because sometimes they don't go up right away, and then like we get into other things, I just totally miss it.
and so I'm super down to do all of this as long as we get to share the document, right?
Yes.
Like we have
We
the
have
Google.
the thing, so we get.
We should definitely do it, and then every PTC be like, hey, these are the characters that were played. These were the symbols that were played. Like there was at a time where I looked and like we all at the birth of the Bebop format, right? And it was 6 PTCs in. Like Spike won 4 of the PTCs almost in a row, and then Keenan Meadows kicked the door down on the meta and was just like, actually, Punch and Judy Coffee Samba is really fucking good. And let me go scoop up
And
4
then towards
PTCs
the end of
real
the
quick.
format, as Rob Karita comes in, red odd, as I yell into the mic.
As you yell into the mic. But like we had actual data of
Yeah.
like, hey, at what point should Spike have been banned? Right?
no,
Look,
problem.
no.
I
But
need
like
multiple spikes to win that PTC.
at what point does Spike go and win 4 PTCs in a row with every character possible represented, and he's just the best. It was not a competition. And we have diversity, which is a topic to itself. Because diversity skews these numbers too.
Yeah.
Diversity skews these numbers hella.
Yeah.
Hella. If there was no diversity, I would not be playing Jeddah at this next event. I'd probably just play Tim Keefe.
Yeah.
If there was no diversity, I'm pretty sure we would all just go play Tim Keefe.
Yeah.
There's-
We were talking about it the other night.
Yeah.
Like if we all just walk in with Tim Keefe, it's bound to win.
Yeah. There's your data there.
Right. And like so at that point you're like flooding the market
Yeah.
like with data.
100%.
And so like you could still consider it like the numbers were skewed.
But like it's only flooding the market with data because of the rule that Jasko puts down.
Yeah.
For all my new kids, diversity is a rule that says, let's say that me and Michael are both playing Ryu 1 dot. Michael goes and gets first place, and he is first out of top 8. I go and I get 5th place in top 8. I still did a good job. I got 5th place. I'm in top 8. There's a rule in UniVersus that says if 2 characters of the same name and same dots, that's very important, are both in top 8, whoever is the weaker schedule gets diversified to the next place.
Yeah.
So if I am 5th place, I actually get bumped all the way down to 9th place.
And 8th place goes up.
And 9th place then takes the spot of 8th place, right? And this is where it's really interesting because it's possible for you to, and this happened to me, it's possible to not lose a round and tie the first place winner and strength of schedule get 2nd and then get 9th.
Gross.
X01, 9th place.
It's possible to get the same record too. Did you say that?
Yeah, I mean, me and Scott Sunman,
Yeah.
big shout outs, did that.
Yep.
Right? X01, 9th place.
Yeah, it
Yep.
came down to numbers.
It came down to numbers. So with that, I wish more people could do more data. I wish more
Yeah.
people were down. I wish more people who weren't trying to make 3 shows a night could do that. But it is our job. It's why all the beautiful patrons are paying us, and so we will do our best to put it into our schedule. I just thought that was interesting. I need my paper back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have anything you want to talk about? I have 3 things written down,
I know
but
you-
I'd
keep
love.
Knock it out.
I think for the people, I don't know, maybe we can like ask if the people want it, but
Yeah.
I think we should like make a poll and take like the top 16 characters.
So here's what I was gonna
afterwards.
do. Here's what I was gonna do. I was going to. Here's a little spoiler for all my kids watching the podcast. I was gonna run out the tournament as it is. I was down, and then I was gonna take the winner, and I was gonna have Tim Keefe fight off against them and be like, "Who's better, Tim Keefe or this card?" And then come in with Scorpion. Who's better? Whoever was left, and I'll be like, here are 4 more characters that I saw in the comments on the first day of this character should be in there, or this character should be in there, and be like, is this character better? Then they shouldn't have been on the list. What did it matter?
Yeah.
Because eventually it'll rise up,
Yeah.
right? It will float to the top. Where hey, if Tim Keefe's not better than Zhang Hua, who inevitably wins the event, then it's a moot point. It didn't matter who was on there.
Yeah.
The fact that Zhang Hua was on there was what mattered.
Yeah. 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 Like at the end of the day, you can't do much just because like data is data. Like and you.
And you can't make everybody happy.
Yeah.
Dang. You figured it out yet?
Oh, here, you know the back.
Okay.
I'm almost done.
Okay. Here is the original topic I had. So that was like a throwaway. One of the comments was quote, and I don't remember who said it. I'm positive I could find it. Quote: "There's a severe lack of Bebop characters on this list."
Yeah. I
And
saw
then
that.
my first thought was, "There's a severe lack of Bebop characters in the format."
Yeah.
When was the last time a Bebop character fucking did anything?
Asmov Catarina is about to win Nats.
I'm like very excited for Asmov Academy to win Nats. But
Yeah.
when was the last time a Bebop character fucking did anything?
Are you like gonna get a time machine?
Just you see James in the corner. Psst, use secret stash. Oh my god, please use secret
I'll walk
stash.
off this set. I'll walk off this set.
Hey,
boy.
I wasn't going there.
I love you. I'm sorry.
I wasn't going
It's
there.
the dad juice. I swear.
Are we counting that as the time? What time is it? I'll give you a little bit more time before I make my.
Okay, that's what I
reveals.
thought. But where's the Bebop characters? Do they exist? Do they matter anymore? Could they go and win a PTC?
I think so.
So, I personally don't think so. I think every character from Bebop has been replaced with a new character.
Go on.
So I think Mad Pro gets replaced with Suzaku because he has the effect on Suzaku itself says 7/7 unblockable, and then he has a 7/7 that just is unblockable because it might have 14 speed. Faye,
Sometimes.
I think Faye gets replaced with Hiei.
Mm-hmm.
I think Spike 1 dot gets replaced with, you could say not Scorpion, you could say Reptile because of the stats and the minus.
I would just say
you
Yusuke.
could say Yusuke, you could say Grow. There's a couple different characters that you could do that for. Spike 2 dot, honestly, I think is probably the last remaining go-getter. For
I mean,
it.
you could
That's-
say like Taki, right?
and yeah, so like
Yeah.
you could say Taki, and that's just my opinion.
I love this idea.
You could even, if you want, you could reach and like go for Remy, just because Remy's naturally trying to do a lot of card pool manipulation with the characters. And then that leaves us with Jet and Vicious.
Jet, Vicious, Ed9, and Asimov Katarina.
So I think Vicious is like, I don't think no one can truly replace like exactly what Vicious does, but Byakko flips foundations and does stuff with that. Torn
gets so
flips
much
foundations and
yeah.
does stuff with that. And then for Jet, for the milling and for the keyword manipulation, I don't really think that there's anything super focused on that.
I actually think he's the only character that is one of the only characters that continue getting better. I think he's just gonna keep getting stronger. Like, he gets like reduction. He gets played reduction, right?
Nope.
No.
He doesn't
Nope.
have- I thought he was chaos for a second.
Nope.
No. But so like if we're looking at
We'll go stuff-
if we're
stuff
looking
on
at
set.
Jet as like a stun character, like Shanghua replaces that. If we're looking at Jet as a defensive character, Lord Raptor replaces that. And then if we're looking at him for like
Kuwabara
like
replaces
just
the
a
defensive stuff.
regular keyword and just like stats in general, like Rando replaces that. Or you could even say Kuwabara replaces that. I just think every character from Bebop, not effect wise, but just like what the character
And I
wants
got
to do.
replaced by Seventh Cross.
Well, yeah, that's why I didn't even bring up. That's why I didn't even bring up Ed 9, because
it's like, fuck the dog.
Time to put it down.
Barf.
yeah, because like
Go for it.
that's just a gimme.
Asimov Katarina can't be replaced. Best character in that set.
They're certainly the most unique. Like actually, I think I mean it's them and Faye is tied for uniqueness, but now Hiei gets to do
I think the three
fairly
best,
chaos random cool
I think the three
thing.
best unique characters to come out of like the last few sets are Asimov Katarina. Faye was close up there, but she kind of just did one thing. She only did momentum. She didn't do anything else.
He's right.
So it's Asimov Katarina because they do cool like graveyard manipulation, ready,
Yeah.
do cool things with their remove from pile. You got Eugenia. She gets to manipulate her opponent's discard pile to get cool stuff for her to do. And I think it's Hiei because he gets to manipulate his momentum as his hand. I think those are the three most unique characters to come out like the last most sets.
They all have chaos.
Yep.
How chaotic.
Yeah. Funniest part is I don't think chaos is either of their best symbols.
My characters would be a little different on uniqueness, but I also like
My
I've
bad.
come
I
in
guess
from
not uniqueness.
I've come in from Soul Calibur on, so
I guess more techiness, techie.
okay. Because I was gonna say the most unique characters I've seen is definitely Zasamel, just like playing the reversals from your discard pile.
What a man.
I
What a
personally,
man.
I would say Yoshimitsu, just a character that
Drives you
that
insane?
buffs checks,
Oh, sorry.
plays all types of just plays
So by that
tries to play as
standard,
many weapons.
Tim Keefe has replaced Yoshimitsu.
Yes, I definitely agree. But a lot of people know already how I feel about Tim Keefe. And then I think Shanghua. So I think the back of set, the last three characters of Soul Calibur, I think those are the most unique characters, at least that I've seen since I've started playing. And it's funny that they're all from the same set.
Yeah, like right in a row. Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about the Bebop characters is they are so generic.
Yeah.
They're so generic.
They're supposed to be generically strong.
They're
is what they
so
were built.
generically strong, and that's the reason that they came out the gate like as gangbusters. Is they're generically strong, and their support is generically strong. And the weakest character in the set is Eda 9 because her whole support is about allies, and she's locked into that thing. Could you imagine if Vicious actually, if he said your weapon attack, your weapon or fury, like all of his kit?
Yeah.
Well, then he would be a totally different character. You could not play Earth, Throw, Mexican
Yeah.
Typhoon. Like, you just couldn't do that. I mean, you still could, but it's just suboptimal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you should definitely put Asimov Korean below Edward 9.
But, so I don't agree with
With
you.
them winning a PTC and getting second means absolutely nothing.
So
They're locked into punching weapons.
So I totally agree with you, except for the fact that like they're locked into punching weapons, but there are way more punching weapons than there are ally cards.
yeah.
Like we had like with Soul Calibur coming out, hey, everything is a weapon. Is it an action? It's a weapon. Is it an asset? It's a weapon. I'm
Yeah, but
surprised
their
Yoshimitsu
support-
wasn't a fucking weapon.
Their support is, well, I mean, he's technically like half. weapon.
Actually, Nightmare should have been the weapon, right? Nightmare's the
Oh, man.
So like,
That'd have been hype as
in my
hell.
opinion, Edward 9 has the better support.
I'm gonna be a weapon when I win in nationals.
Like Edward 9
That's
had
a
the
lie.
better
I'm gonna be an
support,
ally.
in my opinion. Asimov Academy, so like Edward 9 is limited to like their character centric, their ally centric.
Okay.
But their support boosted them so much more than.
So you are touching on my final, like the final thing of the night that I have. What time do we start? Hold on, can I read the timer? We've going for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I have to do a commercial break here soon.
Ways to go.
You're touching on a point that I want to get to
Okay.
with A and K. And I'll write it down
Point
to
on A and K specifically.
yeah to A and K specifically.
Nice.
Of like, yes, A and K is very limited, and yes, A and K got
They have the biggest.
first. What
They have the biggest growth out of all the characters
they got?
outside Jet, in my opinion. Their potential to grow. We talked about this before. It's like the three best characters in the set with the potential to actually get better
Mhm.
were just Jet, Faye, and Asimov Academy.
Well, yeah.
Because their card pools would expand.
Yeah.
And their characters got better because of that.
Yeah, and like Spike One Dot playing better UniVersus than you is just
It's going to be the
not
same.
good enough.
It's going to be the same forever.
Like it's not like you.
His best is going to be his best.
Yeah.
Whereas Asimov, Katarina, Jet, and Faye can only expand.
Right.
Their potential's higher, and they may be lower at the point of when like they came out. Like they had so much. Well, like actually, I guess Jet was really good.
Yeah.
And Faye was okay, neutralish. She was an okay.
She was very good as soon as Mortal Kombat came out.
Yeah, she was. So like when Bebop came out, she was a very B tier character. When everything A tier was what you played, she was a good B tier, solid backdoor option. And then like Asimov and Katarina being like the bottom of the barrel at the time, just had more room to grow than like every other character because of what she could do.
I just think Ed 9 is like a significantly worse
Hey,
character
I
and
want
has
you to
all.
know-
Ed 9 is the only character that hasn't won a PTC,
I get it, but until I did that, they were the worst character in that entire
and that's
set.
how I feel about jumping back to the first topic. That's how I feel about Scorpion.
Yeah.
Like Scorpion didn't do jack shit until you Swiss champed with him, until I topped at nationals, until I got second place at Rockford. Like
Maybe people are right. Maybe it's the player. Maybe Scorpion actually sucks, and it's just me and you. We're great at
Whoa.
this game.
Hey, man, I made a cool Fire Scorpion deck.
we're gonna take a commercial break and then probably jump into that topic. I just want to remind you guys that this episode is brought to you by Cards Custom Build. If you like nerdy costumes or props or other nerd memorabilia, go out to Cards Custom Build out on Facebook. You can also find them on Etsy. And I've got a deal for you guys. If you mention the fact that you saw me on the podcast, this is actually my dad. And he said that he'd give any UFS crew, any UFS watchers, $5 off of their order if you come and say that you supported the show. So any of the cool costumes that you've seen, like you see up on screen right now of me as Scorpion or me as Dr. Wily, that was all made as Cards Custom Build. Plus, here's some of his other stuff that he's done. He's an incredible builder, and he takes requests. So the next major, maybe somebody wants to come dress up as a My Hero character. Reach out to Cards Custom Builds out on Facebook or Etsy, and he'd love to get back to you. So with that, back to the show. Thank you very much, Cards Custom Build. We greatly appreciate you. Don't forget, $5 off. I got to show up in a sick costume for Nationals, and I'd love how sick it would be
To show up in the
A
same
gang,
Scorpion costume.
a gang of people.
if Midoriya sat down across from you. Oh my God!
Like
Puts on the bunny ears.
You realize there's probably gonna be like 3 Midoriyas coming in like their
Disgusting.
sweatshirts and things.
Hell yeah! It's like okay,
Disgusting.
okay. Let's
Terrible hero
let's chit chat. Shut your mouth. Let's chit chat for a second. Do you know how my
I wanna
Jet
dress up this year.
my what?
I want to dress up
Hell
this year.
yeah! Let's go playing Goro. I'm
Playing as Mom Katarina.
oh.
I was gonna get bulgy eyes.
So the step number 1 that my parents are going to suggest is just get addicted to heroin. So that's that's number
James,
1.
I have something that isn't heroin.
Is it cocaine?
No. Anyways,
Anyways,
I'm from Council Bluffs. I can find some heroin.
I'm positive you can, my guy.
Yeah.
yeah, the crack fields of opportunity.
But no, it'd be
Sorry.
I have so I have been so tempted just to be like, all right, I just gotta grind out a sick Midoriya list, just because I want.
I'm a fanboy.
Because I want to come dressed as Midoriya so bad.
I don't know why you don't want to come dressed as All Might.
Well, I don't have an All Might character card,
We could probably get one.
and I'm not yoked out of my mind.
Oh, you can get yoked? We got a month.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
I'm sure there's eggs upstairs.
And that's how Gaston did it.
We'll just do like we'll do the Avengers movie cast diets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
In a
30,
month, yeah,
in
you
the
can do
30
it.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Sit
do
on the
it,
chair and drink lots of beer. You'll be able to look like Thor.
Hell yeah.
Tane's favorite activity.
So, yep, my favorite activity. So, I want to talk about cards versus players. I want to give a huge shout out to the Legendary Wolf sponsored player, Shane Duckworth. He is, at time of recording, made 2 videos that are budget player decks.
Yep.
He made a Goro deck for like $40, I want to say,
I
like
think so.
it's like 30, $40.
It was
And
like 40, 50.
And he
Yeah.
just made Vicious for $21.
Yep. Budget beasts.
And so he is showing the fact that it is not card text that wins the game, but it is the player. And my question is in our game, is it the player? Is it the cards?
I think it's 60-40.
60-40.
Yep. 60-40 to player.
I think
So
there's a
you
lot of
think-
variables.
60% is the player, 40% is the cards.
But the 60% also depends on how good the player is. So, like, if the player can only fill up that 30% of that 60% it's supposed to take, and, like, their card base is the exact max 40, that's 70%. Meaning if anybody is able to put in their, like, up to 80, they're going to be better than that person.
Yeah. What do you think?
Man.
I think I'm just drunk enough to like understand your logic. So we've now come down to James Stevens level.
Sorry, just like that.
I think you've
blew
come
over
on.
my head for
I'm
a second.
sorry.
You're
not drunk enough.
Yeah. Here, man, take a drink.
You have to come up to my
It
level,
is.
yeah.
It is really a. How far does like
How far is card text going
if
to get you?
I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
an
yeah.
infinite amount of an infinite amount of money and I can like
Right,
bling
right.
out my deck,
Kaiba, but you don't understand Heart of the Cards. Right.
right? Then
Right.
I'm missing percentage where Yugi can. I mean, is it Grandpa owns a card shop?
Yeah,
he gets
dude.
whatever the fuck he wants
Yeah,
as
dude.
well.
Friendship, dude. Yeah.
The fuck out of here.
I saw it coming, but I still had to.
I'd like to say it's like 70-30, but like, man, are there some
70,
70 player,
Okay.
30% like cards, but like, man, are there some broken cards right now?
and that makes
To
up
where,
the 30.
like, right? And I think it just even brings it past it to where like I think it's almost 50-50. Like with just like the
That's
power
kind of why I went 60-40.
with like the power creep. Excuse my language. But with the power creep
Power creep.
with the
Excuse my language.
with the power creep of what I feel from Yu Yu Hakusho with a lot of all chaos or evil decks just getting like a lot of really good support. I don't like it's just like a little silly. Like I feel like I'll see a lot of all chaos or evil decks where like no offense to like anybody, but they might like make suboptimal plays or something like that, but like
It won't matter.
they're going to go reduction, play a bunch of cards and I'm just dead because like
Reductions are free too.
because no offense, but reduction did carry them that game, right? And like I mean, it doesn't matter.
Reduction's
Like
going to carry
it-
a lot of people this year. I think.
right, and it doesn't matter. Good, bad, old, young, male, female, like anybody,
Dragons.
anybody, literally anybody can take a reduction, put it in their card pool, and then play 4 or 5 attacks after that,
Oh.
right?
I mean, like, Vega's gonna do it, right? And he was already like, could you imagine all of Vega's attacks getting 2/2? It's actually 3/2 because of whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, my evil Dejanet deck doesn't have a way to kill you. Well, given 2 speed and 2 damage on everything seems really optimal. Oh man, did you not block this reduction? Then I'll grab another momentum to end your turn a little
Do you
quicker.
want to block my 1 speed attack? Place the
Oh,
card?
sure,
Oh,
man. That's
cool.
fine. I've got a
There's
Ghost
more than
Thief.
4
I got a
attacks.
Ghost Thief coming afterwards. Duh.
Yeah.
Like, duh.
And I think a lot of characters in general are just going to be carried like by those 3 symbols.
That's kind of way the most of people. So like, the reason I'm not too worried about it right now is because it's kind of the same way most people felt about not aphidiophobia, allurophobia.
Lurophobia.
Is the card did carry a bunch of people. Allurophobia matched with Big Shot and Punch and Judy was like a free win at the beginning of Bebop.
Yeah.
Like it was actually insane
I-
to the point where I almost quit the game. Jake Johnson almost made me quit the game. I was just like, I am not playing a game with you. I am watching you jerk off. And it's like, I didn't pay for this. I paid to play a card game. Hey, get me out of the back room. I don't want to be here.
And then like slowly people found that like you can deal with it. You just have to know you have to deal with it.
Survivalist
Right.
is a hell of a card, but it doesn't work if you got stunned out with coffee sambas or missile launchers. But like, there are answers.
That's okay. Just
Fuck.
ready it with your character.
Right, Deliverance is really good, right? Like there
Like,
there are
there are
answers.
answers.
Right.
Answers to
Like
things. Like the
totally.
answer to reduction we were talking about earlier was like there's a card in
Pause. We're not going to talk about reduction. I don't want to talk about reduction. I want to talk about players versus cards.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So anyways,
I'm looking at what our set
I've-
list is.
I feel like with Yu Yu Hakusho coming out and like a lot of it being like easy or more free, so to sense, like it's going to carry a lot of people. And then I also think that like expert players or just good players in general are even going to like take that like a level further. So on paper, I'd like to say it's like 50% player, 50% card, but it depends on the player. So then it could be 70-30.
That's kind of why I said 60-40 because like at max you get like a good solid 40% from your deck, and then like at max you get a good 60% from yourself. So like if you don't play up to max, but you have a max deck, so like you get play like half potential, you get a good solid 70. Which means if somebody even like has not the max out deck, like could only get 3 reductions. They don't have 4. They can only get 3 Randall Spirit Guns, not 4. They're playing at like 30% of their deck, but they managed to play at like full potential at 60. That's 90% to your like 70 that you played at. Like it just you're able to outplay them. Like the potential is mostly in the player's base, but it makes up it's empty. It makes up a good chunk of your deck. Makes up a good chunk of the potential of the game.
So like,
I think it's a loaded question.
it is 100% a loaded question, but like an interesting to put out in the ether sphere.
Just ether.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I think
the
just ether
Ethernet.
works.
Yeah.
Because I actually like disagree with you guys. I think it's actually like 80-20. I think 20% of the deck is the player, or sorry, 20% of the deck is the cards, and 80% is the player. Because there are those times where my opponent YOLOs and plays to quote Jeremy Ray like a Neanderthal and just kills you. It's like, what the fuck are you doing attacking me on turn 1? That's not how Jeremy.
Oh, I'm dead.
Jeremy Ray plays like such a colonial gentleman of like, there's no attacking on turn 1. Pardon me. Let me build. Oh
What
man.
do you mean? Whoa. Let's slow down.
Now hold on.
No.
He had a heel turn.
We're gonna slow down here. What do you mean, Jeremy Ray's not gonna attack on turn 1? He's the fucker who brought Mature to the light.
Mature 59. Yeah. For all my kids.
I still think that deck's trash, and I still know what you're saying is bullshit.
For all my kids who don't know, there was at a time where Mature basically was Tim Keefe 2, but instead of having to play a foundation in between, they just played mid attacks.
All your mid attacks
Form.
got +2.
All your mid attacks got +2. Oh, I mean, all my attacks check a 5? I'll play 4 attacks. Deal with that on turn 1. Your turn. My next turn? I'll play 4 attacks. Oh, I've got a couple momentum. I'll play the second. It got way bigger. Play that way bigger. Way bigger. Oh, no, you're dead. Oh, dang.
Dang.
It is okay for some protagonists to have a singular arc where they are the villain. That's all right. It's character growth, but he plays
Here's
like.
the thing, though.
Go ahead.
He hasn't had the redemption arc yet. He's still technically the villain. He's just shitting around like Jesse and James getting
Well,
fucked with.
now hold on. He's the final boss. How dare you speak of him that way? All right. Going
Final
to.
boss my ass. He hasn't got anywhere yet.
He won a PTC.
Did he?
Yeah, he won with Cassie. He won Chicago
How come I don't remember Chicago?
because you were.
Oh, yeah.
Hella sick. You were fucked up.
Hella fucked up.
You were
from
playing.
being
You were
sick.
playing a mean. You were playing Water Goro.
Hey, I was doing really good the front half of that PTC.
Man, I'm the biggest. I think that's the biggest regret of your career. Not second place at Worlds. Not
Is
going and topping with that
Not-
deck.
Is being sick that day. Something I can't control. I'm upset about being sick that day.
He
I
was,
lost.
he was scooping kids up.
I lost to a little kid, and then I just like lost to like somebody else because like I had to throw up twice mid match,
Oh.
and then I just
Yeah.
like scooped the sandwich. Like I can't do it today.
Anywho, I think the 20% is when you get sacked. Like, and honestly, like 80% of it is like my deck works out. Like, if you build like a really like a. So, your loaded question thing is like true, like really true, because it
Yeah.
depends on what you draw, obviously, and it starts at like what you play.
Yeah.
Like if you play like a fairly well-rounded deck, if you're not, and I promise I'm not throwing shade, Michael, you're playing one hell of a combo deck.
Yeah.
And so like you're like, man, I'm just gonna combo out, and then you don't see your combo, and you're like, actually these 2 cards that I drew killed you, and you're like, well fuck, I couldn't do my thing, so I lost. Dang.
Got me.
It's like if I play like a really truly well-rounded deck, like that Donovan deck. Did you
Yeah.
ever feel like you were like, well, I just got blown out. Fuck me, right?
No.
And that's
I felt like I was in every single game.
yeah, and that's where UniVersus really shines. Is you get to play these like really well-rounded games of chess with my opponent, but then somebody plays an attack or plays a foundation, and then plays Gimbu, and then
Plays
plays
reduction.
reduction, and then plays Gimbu, and you die.
Yep.
It happens.
Sometimes you play a quick 10-minute match.
Yeah, and it's like,
And most of it was all shuffling.
and that, dang, and so like,
That's literally what it was the other day.
and that would have killed Donovan. Like, it doesn't matter how well-rounded you are on turn 1 and turn 2.
If somebody gets it, somebody gets it.
The issue is that like those decks that can do that, they shouldn't have a late game plan, and they do, because why does reduction have breaker 2? No reason.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and the worst part is, like, they have other attacks, too. Right? And it's just, like, it only takes... Sorry, I know we're throwing some shade at reduction. At least I'm throwing some shade at reduction.
Reduction's the last topic. I think that card should be banned.
100%.
100%.
But I'm, right, like, it just... my 4 attack turn, it can turn into 2 attacks, and I can get there.
Yeah, like if we have to imagine that every attack is on average 4.5 damage. Every time that I play 2 attacks, reduction has played a 3rd attack, and it itself, because of it being a 1 mid for mid, either wasted my opponent's resource or gave me an additional resource on the turn that I'm attacking.
And that doesn't even include, like, any buffs that you randomly give it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's just like playing. Rando with reduction is the stupidest thing in the whole wide world.
That's
Playing?
It's because it's so like
Reduction
Reduction
into
should've been the
Rando's
ultra rare.
spirit gun
It's insane.
is insane.
Yeah,
I
and,
think reduction should have been the ultra rare.
and it's
Well,
just...
yeah.
Reduction is the best card for random.
I actually am super down to say reduction is the best card in that set. Like I think that card should be banned. That card is as good and as game breaking as Dark Chirito, as Maxi, as like all these other cards that we have said, as Summer Heat. Like I'll take 1,000 Summer Heats before I'll take a reduction in the format. Yeah,
Reduction kills people.
Draw a card when you build one. I don't give a fuck. That card doesn't have a block. That card readies by
Yeah.
itself. We've got one Repower. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, ready your whole staging area. I'll play reduction. This card counts as two Summer Heats. I don't give a fuck. It's just the card's so lame. 1 mid block, breaker 2. You ready? I was talking to my coworker about this because like I was talking about the combo with them, right? And I was like, man, I'm so bummed that this card exists. And she's like, well, I mean, I used to play Pokemon back when I was a kid, and I was like, all right, let me dive into my world, okay?
Now imagine if your Charizard, when you evolved it, it got 5 free energy,
Yeah.
and you already had 3 energy attached to it. That means your Charizard, just playing it, it got to attack twice with
Yeah.
Fire Blast.
Oh no! And imagine that in our game we get to attack with all of our Pokemon, and all of our Pokemon got 5 energy. It's like fuck, like fuck. It's just it's such a steroid shot.
It's one of the things like, because I've talked to Fam about this a couple of times, because like I think the one thing
Brag about it.
one of the true things we're missing in this game is something that seals something in the card pool.
We have it.
Bastion stance. Right? Isn't that one in the card pool?
It's-
No,
and one
that
in
seals
staging
another thing. It's the 6 diff Zolt attack.
Yeah, that
Whatever the
one's-
fuck
that
that
one
is.
does it.
No, there's a foundation in 7th Cross that seals
Symphony
something in the
of
card
Deep?
pool.
Are you talking about Symphony of the Deep? I believe that's just
Paranormal investigation does, as long as it has 3 keywords.
Well, no, I know that there's something when it's enhance, seal another card in the card pool. Oh, maybe it's a Lilith or a Morgan card, actually.
those do that. Those seal an attack.
Yeah.
The
That's
card,
all right,
there's
which is
another
what we
card
need to
in-
do.
There's another card called Sacrament of Blades.
Yeah. That's the Jeffrey. Yep, that's
Yep,
the Jeffrey card.
card. The exact keyword is R, discard 1 card. After your opponent plays attack, seal 1 other card in their card pool.
Yep.
That has Earth?
Yeah.
You should play the fuck out of that card.
Yeah. I just thought about that right
oh
now.
no, reduction. Bloop. Oh, woo.
Yeah,
And I played
that's
a
cool.
bunch of cards that do
Your
draw cards,
your
too.
rando spirit gun, it got 2/2. Sure, give it another 2/2. This reduction is not doing anything anymore. It's +1 progressive.
Sorry, man.
Sorry.
I'm also not a desperation for the turn.
Yeah.
Sorry, my guy.
Sucks
And
for
so and that's another really frustrating thing about that card is like it doesn't you being at desperation for the turn, it doesn't really do anything like
Unless
because
you're
your opponent's not realistically going to block with it.
Man, it makes
Sometimes
me
it will.
deal so much in my deck.
But like if you're a desperation deck, your opponent's not going to block with
You should.
I don't know.
with the reduction.
Yeah, it's just
But so on defense, it's like, oh, you're a desperation. Breaker 2 is your turnover.
like power cycle in that card. The tits. Like the tits.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I didn't draw a reduction. This hand would have killed you.
Monetization.
Well, what?
They want the monetization.
Because I said reduction.
No, 'cause you said
No,
Don't say that word,
James.
James.
You're gonna get us demonetized. But so and seriously, like that's literally the last thing that all needed was a free 2/2 on everything, right?
It's also my opinion on that, but
So
so the problem I have is that it's not an ultra rare. Is
here's
the problem I have with it.
you ready, James Stevens? Let me tell you about all getting free stats. All right, my name is Cassandra Cage. I'm
Yeah?
gonna play.
My friends call me Cassie.
My friends call me Cassie. Don't call me Cassie. I play reduction in my card pool,
Cass.
and then the first thing that I do is I commit summer vacation in order to make that reduction not count towards progressive, and then I stuff my summer vacation in my card pool. Hey, now this card ignores progressive because of summer vacation, and then I'm gonna toss 1,000. My Kembos get an extra 2/2. That's something we needed. My Nutcrackers are 6 low for 6. Just kidding, 6 low for 10s. Just kidding, 6 low for 12s because I added in 6 low for 12.
And that's not
On
even
a
including
4 diff.
that's not
and
even-
I drew a card, an EX2, and another set of Breaker 2. Are you fucking me?
Well, and I was about to say that's not even Cassie giving speed.
Oh yeah, I forgot we had a character card.
Yeah, it's 8 load.
Don't forget, you also have her foundation too.
Right.
That gives speed or damage, right?
Right. It's like the last thing all needed. Chaos? I'm down. That card should have had 1 symbol. Like
I'm okay with it having evil. I'm okay with it.
So yeah, sorry guys, this has turned into the anti-reduction squad.
reduction's actually the last topic.
yeah,
Wrote
yeah,
it down.
No, I know.
I'm not
I was just-
anti-reduction.
I ban it. Honestly, it's as bad as Dark Chirito. We've bitched about Dark Chirito. Everybody complains about Dark Chirito. I can't believe it didn't win the
Everyone
Ultra Rare
complained
thing.
about Allure-phobia.
Keenan Meadows slipped $20 in my pocket. I'm coming clean on the podcast. Keenan Meadows gave me $20 to say that Coffee Sun was the better Ultra Rare. That bitch got knocked out in round 1. All right.
What did it lose to?
It's a good question. I want to say it lost a Nutcracker, like a really good card.
Like it had a rough round 1.
We're gonna. Yeah,
That was the issue.
Yeah.
It didn't meet anywhere in the finals. It had to make the decision.
And then Nutcracker didn't have a champion. It didn't have a savior. Like there wasn't some like Big Johnson being like, "Nah, guys, vote happy for Nutcracker."
Vote happy for
Let's get
It had no opposition. Coffee Summer just comes out of nowhere. I'm your president.
No, but you got knocked out first round. I don't care. I don't care.
Screw the rules. I have money.
Yeah.
Welcome your new president, D's nuts.
Uh,
But you didn't win
Anywho.
your office.
Anywho,
so
anywho,
I'm
redu-
here anyway.
reduction should be banned.
I don't
Okay.
like reduction symbols like remotely.
What should it have?
So
Listen up, Jason Horonsky and Ryan family.
Ryan
so
Familia.
obviously
You should. What's your time now? I'm.
You're there. You think you're
Yeah.
there?
Oh yeah.
evil. It definitely needed evil.
8:45. 4 off.
Here was the
Unfortunately,
other one in case you didn't drink all that right away.
unfortunately, I do
I
think
gave
that
you an extra hour.
I unfortunately think that it did need to have evil and chaos for just how the character worked.
Yeah.
I just don't really understand why Rando has all. I really just
I've never seen the show, so I
I
can't
really
give you
just
an-
don't.
nah.
and
So-
so he's a demon. Okay.
Yeah.
Why
I'd say
not?
death.
Why not give him void?
Or death.
Right.
Okay.
even.
And like, oh no, Reptile gets this really cool mid attack. Okay, what's now? Hold on, before we think about how nuts it would be.
Fuck
okay,
that.
It'd be
What
a solid 2-5.
what was the last real support that Reptile got? What was the last game breaking Reptile card?
all of Zhang Hua's support.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, right, and that's
That's mediocre.
That's-
for him.
two good attacks and an asset.
Sorry, Jeff.
Like, and I'm not trying. Yeah, I'm
I
not.
actually
I'm
think
not
all
trying.
three of her attacks. I think MGH.
Yeah, but MGH isn't that good in that deck though.
I agree.
It keeps
So
one
no
more.
no no.
You're
So
wrong.
I think it's super sweet to go MGH Reptile. All right, this one is gonna get +1 speed 3 damage, and then I'll Reptile for
Yeah,
the
but like if
4th
you
damage.
went MGH, add MGH, everything's getting 2-2.
Right, and like with the windmill punches, right?
Why would we do that? We could just add reduction.
Right, and I'm hearing you. I think this deck
Look at
is.
all the work you had to do for 2-2.
So I think that reptile. I think that reptile deck is super sweet. I also think that reptile deck needs to build into deadlock to do anything because you're.
at
I'm
that
gonna
point you
MGH
point you play
windmill
Void.
punch. Then I have to play real stuff.
At that point, you just play Void. 'cause
And
you get
then-
to do cooler things.
And then you ready? Like, reduction is so nuts. It says that what the fuck is Grow? Why would you ever play Grow? Like,
Right.
the reason I don't want to put him on my ultra rare list is because we printed a rare that is Grow. I'll put this
But
in my
that-
card pool.
that's one of the
All
things,
my
like-
attacks get 2-2.
That's one of the things I talked
What
about.
do you
was,
do?
when I was talking?
You
of
could
one of
discard
the
a card for multiple once per turn.
Yeah, who gives a fuck?
One of the first things we talked about, like when the set came out, is like I was like, reduction's just Virus Unchained cash grab. Like that's all it is. It's Parky cash grab Virus Unchained.
Yeah,
It's not enhanced. It's free stats. It already does its ability.
And it has breaker.
too.
And it has
And,
breaker
and it's
too.
got a great block.
Baller ass. Get out of my head.
Nope. I live here now. We're gonna go to the bathroom.
8:45. I do.
I also have to go to the bathroom.
No, I don't. I know. I was talking about me living in his head.
Oh.
Where can I go to the bathroom?
I have to pee really bad. Like really
Maybe
bad.
it's all the alcohol.
Duh.
It's all the dad juice.
Duh.
So, anyways,
Ryan, get rid of this card, please.
The
Yeah,
card's fine.
so
print more answers.
it needs. Okay, so right, so now we're at the answer.
Okay,
phase.
so yeah, let's talk about
So now we're at
answers.
the
I
answer
love
phase.
that.
Okay, so
Look at you.
if we're
I'm not doing it to drug Tam. Who's just trying to be rowdy.
so you want to know the symbol that has the best answers
You're
to this
about
card?
to give me the answer that I thought we just talked about doesn't answer, right?
Well, no.
Okay.
The symbol that has the best answers to this card is funny enough is Chaos, who also gets to play reduction. So, woo.
Yeah, the best. You should always be able to cancel the thing that you play. Like most of the characters from like
I
earlier sets.
hate that.
That used to be one of your favorite things. I thought.
I'm allowed to grow as a human being, James. I'm not a linear person. I believe. You know who should have the best answers to chaos? Order. You know who should have the best answers to order? Chaos.
Yeah, evil,
I'm down.
good.
That's interesting. It does. Man, I'll do this so we get back to reduction. I swear. Fuck that card.
I'm fine. With
It does put us in a little bit of a Pokemon mentality of, oh, you're playing an all deck while I'm playing a void deck. Looks like we're just gonna sit here and go to time because our decks just counter each other. But like it then depends on what it then with true card design, it then what other symboled cards are you playing? If you're playing more water cards and I'm playing more life cards, maybe your water cards, the secondary symbol that you're playing, are just better, right? But that would take a very large design team. That would take every card actually following a true guide of what does this card do, what's its unique ability, right? But like having I'm okay with a card in the set fighting itself, right?
Yeah.
So like but like my favorite example for this is Nightman and for Chivalry and Honor.
Yeah.
For Chivalry and Honor cancels what Nightman does, except that it doesn't because Nightman is a form.
Yeah.
It cancels other people who are trying to be Nightman. And I think that's where it gets interesting. Right?
I really like there were a couple older cards I can't think of right now that like if your character did something, it had something in its own support that canceled that ability. I'm trying.
It should interact with that ability. I don't know about cancel. It should interact with that ability.
I'm going to go to older characters so I can find one of the examples I have in my head.
You ready? How sick would it be if Rando had a card that said like respond, commit a foundation after your opponent plays an ability to increase their check, gain a life. So in the mirror match, whoever saw that card was just like, oh, I'll commit this. I gain a life. Yeah, you got 1/1, but I'll make my block. Or I'll flip this card, or I'll discard a card, or I'll whatever. Or every time that you increase your check, I'll flip one of your cards. Or every time you increase your check, I'll draw a card. Like, interacting with your ability is rad. Outright canceling it, nobody likes to get their shit canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that. Canceling should be, like, reserved for 3, maybe 4 symbols.
Yeah, just ask most of the CW like producers.
Right. Nobody likes getting canceled.
Yeah.
Such a bad joke.
It is the worst joke we've ever told on this podcast, and I'm happy you made it.
And we tell a lot of bad jokes.
Okay, but so anyways,
Reduction. Fuck that card.
back to what I was saying. So like a lot of chaos cards like counter right. So you have like Lilith support where I think it's a 3 or less damage attack. You blow it up and you seal it.
Yep.
And then you have the Earth response, commit, discard a momentum,
Flip, but yes.
flip. Yep. Lilith herself cancels it. You can focus and release, clear it out of the card pool.
That's Taki's action for the kids who don't read cards.
And then like there's another card from Darkstalkers that we can use. There's Morgan's Foundation. After an attack resolves, flip it. I think that card could see like some real play.
Wearlight can
Kuma's.
do it on a reversal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kuma's Foundation does it.
But I just don't
After an
think
attack resolves, flip it.
Yeah, that's
that's
the card
Kuma's
you're thinking
Foundation.
of,
Oh yeah. But so I don't think that Wearlight does
example
anything to it because like okay, you're gonna reversal me and you're gonna bounce this reduction to my hand. I'll block with a reduction. Okay. Or you just play the reduction afterwards.
Yeah.
Purifying
whatever. It says card pool flip. Card pool enhance flip. Seal one of their cards in their card pool.
So I mean like yeah, so like there are answers to it, but like man, are like does it feel bad? It feels bad to like play like a single card or like a couple copies of a single card to like just counter that one card. But I do think that the card's like powerful enough to like warrant it. But it's funny that I think like the best counters to it have chaos, right?
Yeah.
And so it's one chaos deck playing reduction against another deck playing chaos playing reduction and like
another card that you can play is what's the Zoe block move card? It's got a
Formidable Task.
Formidable Task, yeah.
Yeah.
Formidable Task. It has evil. We'll seal it.
Yeah.
But like destroy a foundation to seal it. Like that's a very good
probably
answer.
side that.
Yeah, I think you should. I could if I was playing Water still, but I'm not.
But yeah. So like
Jurassic Jungle is a card that like we've talked about a bunch.
Yeah,
That card fucks that card up.
I super love that card.
And that card stops the combo.
Yeah.
That card says fuck reduction.
Yeah. But so like the answers are just like so like thinned, right? So we have like chaos, and then we're talking about evil having an answer, and then air having an answer, and like I don't know, like we can like delve deeper, like off screen or whatever, and like find even more answers. Like the answers do exist, but like man, are they just not optimal?
Yeah.
Like for people's decks.
At time of recording, we have a whole format with this card. We have to understand that it exists, and there's like pseudo answers of the fact of like you were saying. I wonder how many people are randomly going to play arranging a deal because throwing a
it was something that happened during when Akuma was starting to be like a big problem for people.
Yeah,
Was mostly it was actually I noticed it mostly for
Akuma
UK.
gets to play that card. Fuck that.
We were talking about that too.
I know we were talking about that.
Whereas for like the UK, I noticed like
plus X.
a lot of their deck lists
Yeah.
were playing a bunch of we're playing Liu Kang's Foundation with that face downs in, -1 damage, -1
Yeah.
damage. It's a 1/6 with a 2 mid block, I think.
Yes.
Like super good card, but like only for doing certain things. And I was like really baffled right away because I was like, what does this card do? You don't even do anything with face downs. And then like I just thought about like Akuma. Akuma adds things, and everyone's always scared of Akuma.
Yeah. Even now, Akuma won a cardboard. Akuma won teams.
Akuma's really good.
That's exactly where he belongs. I believe he belongs on teams. That's it. I don't think it's a very good single stack, but that's for another
I
podcast.
think he just gets you there.
Is there anything else you want to talk about reduction? If not, I'm gonna bring this guy to a close. I might explode.
Personally, we can wait a little bit, but I just think that reduction is unhealthy, especially paired with Timothy 2 Dot and Boulderhead.
There's that, and like we knew that Dark Chirito was a problem with a static of while this exists in the card pool.
Do something.
Do
Do
a
this
sweet
thing.
effect.
Why did we print another one of those?
I would have been fine if it said like +1 speed or just +1 damage.
We've also talked about the podcast that the difference between +1 and +2 is
so much.
fucking insane. If that card said +1/+1, I'd have zero problem with it, honestly.
Like, and it's the 2 speed that like gets that card over the top.
Yeah,
Like
everything has
I'm
2
totally
speed.
cool with the +2 damage to everything, but it's the speed that gets it over the top.
Oh, your 4th attack that you had to tap an extra 6 resources for to block everything. Sorry, man. And that's without me doing anything.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like just seriously, like when I
Yamato man with that card is banana sandwich.
5/3.
like
Here's 5/3.
just playing a couple games against it, like, and looking at like I have a 2 high, a 2 mid, a 2 low block. I'm blocking this on an 8. Wow, if I check a 3, I have to tap out. Like, and it just makes me want to cut more attacks and play more foundations. But at the end of the day, like, that just hurts my own deck.
Yep. 100%.
I just think we need more answers. I don't think the problem with it is the card. I think it's everything else in the game. Like everything else in the game gives it such a big pool.
Yeah. And Ghost Thief's really cool.
Like Ghost Thief.
Hey, your desperation, blow that up.
Yeah.
Hey, sick answer. So with that, I'm going to bring this podcast to a close.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching this episode of Study Hall. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. We all appreciate it. If you like the content and you want to support us, go out to patreon.com/TCG University. Sub at any of the levels. At the $3 level, you get to see the whole podcast 1 whole week early. Once again, if you don't have any bucks to toss, that's totally chill. Go out to youtube.com/TCG University and just subscribe out there. Share the videos with your local play group. We would just love the support. If you have any suggestions for campus championships, jump on our Discord for the $1 level, and we'd love to chat with you out there. So with that, stay learned.
Get learned.
Been learned.
I have to pee.
See ya.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a blessed day. Unless you're playing Reduction or Timothy, then don't. I hope you have a decent day at best. I said good day.